Channel's Week in Review. Rabbis ban one of the most popular sources for Jewish information. Orthodox Jewish boxer Dmitry Salita returns to the ring, and fighting for workers' rights from a Jewish perspective. It's the Jewish news that's changing your world right now in this episode of the Week in Review. Hello, and welcome to the Jewish Channel's Week in Review. I'm Stephen I. Weiss. Perhaps the largest Jewish news website is being banned by leading ultra-Orthodox rabbis. The website Vocas Neias is an ultra-Orthodox run news site that largely aggregates or copies whole Jewish news from other websites. According to public ratings data, the site receives more traffic than Jewish wire service JTA.org, more traffic than that of national Jewish newspaper The Forward, and more than that of the New York Jewish Week. Almost all of its visitors are presumably Orthodox, and many, if not most, are ultra-Orthodox. And that has led to the ban this week signed by 36 leading ultra-Orthodox rabbis, from Rabbi Shmuel Kamenetsky of Philadelphia to Rabbi Aryeh Malkiel Cutler of Lakewood, New Jersey. Interestingly, the ban specifically forbids only advertising on the Vocas Neias website and not the reading of it. The reason for not banning reading of the site could be due to the fact that many of these rabbis have previously signed on to bans forbidding use of the internet as a whole, and thus would see banning reading one site as potentially conflicting with that previous ban on the entire internet. Of course, if that ban on the entire internet really were being followed, a site like Vocas Neias couldn't exist in the first place. It's also interesting to see that Vocas Neias was the only site targeted, while similar popular sites like Yeshiva World News and Matzav weren't mentioned. The website didn't appear to have posted anything about the ban as TJC was preparing this broadcast, and an inquiry on Deadline was not responded to. The ban seems to have first come to light on the Orthodox watchdog blog, Failed Messiah. In a different story of an Orthodox Jew trying to bring something to a halt, the Orthodox Jewish boxer, Dmitry Salita, fought challenger James Weka Thursday night. The full fight, including appearances by pop star Matisyahu, can be viewed on the Jewish Channel right now. As Christian Need reports, it was a fight in which Selita did quite well.
Dmitry Salita walked out to the ring this past Thursday night, serenaded by friend Matisyahu singing King Without a Crown. And Selita looked visibly primed and ready to take out James Weka for a chance to wear the vacant IBA welterweight belt. From the first round, Selita began delivering devastating body shots to the taller Weka, the painful effects not lost on TJC commentators Steve Farhood and John Iceman Scully.
Deadly body, deadly.
Well, to Salita's credit, he found a weakness. He found it quickly in the fight, and he's taking full advantage of it.
And that's a tough thing for Weka. For the rest of this fight, he's always just going to be waiting for that hammer to drop.
And it wasn't long before Selita dropped it.
And my guess is one more knockdown. And that's a low left hand and a right hand up top. Sure enough, one more knockdown and that's it. It's over. David Fields calls it.
In his post-fight interview, Farhood asked Selita about preparation and execution.
The body shots, the agony on his face was so apparent. Yet you kept your cool and you didn't rush things, and you actually finished him with what I would call a crunk right hand. You've been working out in Detroit at the most famous gym in boxing. Is that where you learned that right hand?
Well, you know, it's a combination of working with Normal and working Normal Local. I've been working since I'm very young. And Sugar Hill from Kronk Gym and Emmanuel. It's a good combination, it's a good team, and I think everything is coming together very well.
Lorick added that Selita's third-round victory was about where they'd planned it to happen.
We said it was going to be 4 rounds today. I didn't really predict that, but Dmitry was in such good shape, and getting ready for Michael Chanda was no other way that we wanted to be a knockout. And he went out there and followed the rules that we set, and he came to the body and then came back to the head.
And though he donned the IBA welterweight belt after his victory, Selita noted that Mike Anchondo still figures in his near boxing future.
This fight was I understand, it was sanctioned by the IBA, and it is an interim belt, and I have to fight for that belt. I'd have to plan on actually fighting Mike, and I'm working on some big things. I'd like to be back in the ring soon, and I'd like to fight in Israel. Actually, that's what we've been working on, and hopefully it'll come to fruition. I think it'll be a historic event, and it's something that I wanted to do in my career, and hopefully it'll happen soon.
You know how much money that will cost you to send all these Brooklyn people to Israel? You have to pay for that, Dmitry.
Well, as a promoter now, right? I mean, I have to count it up. Hopefully we'll get one of the nice Jewish airlines to step in and help us out on that.
And before turning things over to a special performance by Matisyahu, Farhood summed up Selita's victory for the TJC audience.
Alrighty, so Dmitry Salita does what he needed to do tonight against the substitute James Weka. He takes him out with a brutal body attack and then a big right hand. It's been fun here at Roseland Ballroom in New York City. Fight night on the Jewish Channel. For John Scully, I'm Steve Farhood. We wish you all the best. Thanks so much for watching. Dmitry Salita, our big winner tonight.
Thank you, Christian. A Jewish fight of a different kind is one for additional workers' rights, and Christian Needon has that story as well.
On August 31st, New York became the first state in the nation to pass a law guaranteeing a domestic workers' Bill of Rights. And one of the nonprofit organizations instrumental in the push for the bill was a local Jewish organization, Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, which ran its own Shalom Bayit, or Peace in the Home campaign, raising awareness for the plight of New York's domestic workers. As JFREJ recently prepared to celebrate its 20th anniversary at Temple B'nai Jeshurun, TJC journeyed to Manhattan's Benjamin Cardozo Law School to talk with one of Shalom Bayit's organizers about why the new law is a Jewish issue.
I think it's a Jewish issue because a lot of Jews are employers and Jews have worked as domestic workers, and it's also a basic rights issue that, as the Jewish community, I'm a child of caregivers, I was lucky to have my parents model a very respectful relationship to our employers, but, so that's my personal connection to the work, is that I've benefited greatly, and it's, one way I can give back. But on the other hand, it's a very large issue. They're a really core part of our society that's been overlooked, and as young Jews, we should make it our responsibility to bring their work to the forefront and give them respect and recognition.
And among older Jews, few have the ground-level workers' organizing credentials of Cy Khan. The founding board chair of Jewish Funds for Justice was honored by JFREJ for his musical advocacy work and introduced to the crowd by current Jewish Funds for Justice President Simon Greer and New York City Councilman Brad Lander.
It's my incredible both personal and organizational honor to be here tonight to celebrate the 20th anniversary of JFREJ. Incredible. To celebrate this extraordinary victory of the Domestic Workers' Bill of Rights that we're and to pay tribute to my friend and mentor, Cy Khan.
Khan told TJC why Jews should care about sticking up for the rights of all workers.
Because of my Aunt Nellie, who was a shoe factory worker in the Bronx. Because of my Uncle Charlie, who sold women's pants door to door. Because of my Uncle Seymour, who installed oil burners. Because of my Uncle Bill, who was a tire recapper. Because of my Aunt Reba, who was an Army nurse in World War II. This is our history. This is also our country, our world. And it's a very Jewish attitude to understand that if anyone's happiness is diminished, so is ours. That's why on Pesach, on Passover, we dip from Elijah's cup to mark the plagues, but to also make it clear that when anyone's cup of happiness is diminished, so is ours.
Reporting for the Jewish Channel, I'm Christian Needon.
Thank you, Christian. That's all for this week. From all of us here at the Jewish Channel, be well. The Jewish Channel is available on cable. IO Optimum Cable Channel 291, Time Warner Cable Channel 528, RCN Channel 268, Verizon Fios Channel 900, and Cox Cable Channel 1. For more information, visit tjctv.com.